What do you usually do when you visit Vancouver? Why would you come here?
Usually I come to Vancouver just to film. No. So today we're going to be looking at downtown Vancouver. What I consider downtown Vancouver is a little bit different. It does encompass the Oneida, the Esther Short, and the downtown Vancouver area. This goes all the way from the tracks over to the highway, down to the river, and all the way up to Fourth Plain Boulevard. It's a beautiful city that's just up and coming. From years ago, before you didn't have anybody coming downtown. And now, since they've done all the new construction along the waterfront, it's just been a highlight for many people, in fact, attracting a lot of people into Vancouver. During the gold rush era, a lot of people from the East and Midwest were coming out to California, also settled in Oregon, then somehow got across the river here to Vancouver, which was established again more in the 1800s. The Hudson Bay fur trading was a big thing that was happening back then, and the Hudson Bay Company was involved in a lot of that. We've always considered Vancouver as a suburb of Portland for the most part, because it is just right across the Columbia River, just 10 minutes into Portland if you're coming from downtown, and just 35 minutes to the airport, Portland International Airport. So again, very attractive. A lot of older homes mostly. There is some newer construction down along the waterfront, which has brought a lot of vibrancy to Vancouver. Along the waterfront, they have built quite a few business structures, but also apartments. They've completed right now over 1,300 apartments, with 250 of those being high-end and another 250 of those being senior living. But with 1,300 apartments that they've built down there, and then another 700 or so, we've provided much more space for people to be down there. Currently in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, there's only about 13 condos and homes for sale. 5 of those being at 701 Columbia, which is half apartments and half condominiums, older down there. And the other 5 being on the waterfront with just 3 houses available there. The median price range in Vancouver right now is at $467,000. But there's so much attraction, new attraction to downtown Vancouver, mostly because of the waterfront. So we're here along the Vancouver waterfront, which is being developed in the most recent years. And what you have is a lot of great restaurants. We're sitting in front of the Wildfin and Dos Olas right here at Grant Street Pier. All of that behind you, we've got motels, we've got some luxury condos, a lot of businesses and good restaurants in the bottom, and again, all those apartments that I was talking about, 1,300 apartments built so far, with another 700 coming. And those range from high-end luxury apartments to normal, and then we also have 250 elder, meaning 55 plus community apartments for people here too. Again, total different vibe here from what we've seen up at Esther Short Park in the older Vancouver. This is all brand new, still being completed. It's going to be awesome when it's finished. You really got to come down here and check it out. Because of the density of homes that we have here, there's not a lot of larger lots where houses are being knocked down and apartment buildings are being put up. That has already happened back in the 80s and 90s as the downtown area grew more for the commercial side. So as far as real estate in downtown Vancouver, most of your homes here go pretty fast because of the desirability to live in downtown without being in one of the condos. We're in the historic Stevenson home, which was originally built for this man named Merriweather, But Dr. Stevenson was a local doctor, worked at St. Joseph's Hospital, and also ran outside of this house here his own little clinic and was the neighborhood doctor. Everybody would come running to him. He lived here from 1922 for a while, but again, that's a historic home. Again, a historic home here, but while it's on the registry, it is not one that is open to the public. One of the advantages when you do purchase a historic home is you do have lower property taxes so long as you keep a lot of the main original appearance of the home as close to it as possible. If you were to completely change the whole facade, the whole looks of it, that may take away from it, but they have preserved this home quite a bit to its original, keeping it close to what it was originally, along with the Kaufman house too down the street. Again, I do like a lot of the historic homes that they have there. Kaufman was more of the Victorian, while this one is a four-square. So we're here in what I call the heart of downtown Vancouver at Esther Short Park. Now, for those of you who don't know who she is one of the original founders of Vancouver back in the 1800s. Her and Hudson Bay Company were disputing over the 640 acres she claimed, and Hudson Bay Company would always hassle the Short family, knocking down their fences. One day when her husband was out, a lieutenant from the French-Canadian, or some French-Canadian lieutenant, started hassling her, and she bitch slapped him so hard he fell to the ground, and shortly after that they stopped harassing her, and so that's where we have Esther Short from. Compared to Portland, where you can see a lot of hills, the terrain over here is a little bit flatter, so it's much more pleasant. The streets are sometimes a little bit difficult to get used to because they do run in number sequence, so first, second, third, and fourth, that's east, west, north, and south. There are some named streets, to tell you too. Just like Portland, Vancouver is very bike-friendly and pet-friendly. One of the things they haven't really built on yet is the public transportation. So that is coming along, but the C-Tran is the only way right now to get from Portland down, or from Vancouver down into Portland. And as we continue building down along the waterfront, I'm sure they're going to take and improve their public transportation some. But again, it's still a very walkable area. You only go up 45, 50 blocks, so 2.5 mile walk around. It's easy to do, and again, you're going to see a lot of people who are friendly. It's a different vibe from Portland itself. It's way more relaxed. Most people who do live in Vancouver more than likely work in Oregon, and so the commute here during the busy times from 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning and then from 4:30 to 6 o'clock at night can be quite a task to get through. So be patient if you are driving between the two cities just for work. There's plans to do a double-decker bridge in the future, which will of course cost billions of dollars, and we're not going to see that. I'm not going to see that in my lifetime. But right now it's just 3-lane highway on Bridge I-5, which will lead immediately to 14 to bring you over to the Camas area and the east side of Vancouver, or you have Highway 205, which is close to the airport, bringing you across, and that's about 4 or 5 lanes at times. One of the main reasons I come to Vancouver is to shop, because it seems like there's just some more neighborhood feel to the shops. Everybody, it seems to be a lot friendlier. When I did some highlights of downtown Vancouver before, they have markets on Main Street. I walked into a lot of these shops and they were more than happy to greet me, and mostly all one level. You don't have any of the big malls. So they're all more local. Buying local and supporting local is something I truly believe in. 2 or 3 hospitals in the area, so you're close enough to hospitals if you're older, or if you need to be close to hospitals, there's 2 or 3 hospitals in the area, so it's easy access to those also. It's a great place to visit. Vancouver, a lot of people are attracted to Vancouver from Portland and other areas because there is no income tax here. So retirees are attracted up here because of that. But there is a sales tax. The sales tax here in Vancouver or Clark County is 8.7%. Now, compared to other counties in Washington, it goes as high as 10.7% with 7.7% in Snohomish. So we're on an average here. Now, when you do sell real estate in Washington, there is a real estate excise tax. It is 1.10% on anything under $525,000, and then it goes up from $525,000 all the way up to a higher level with a lower rate than that. So the first $525,000 is at 1.10%. Instead of paying the taxes, the sales taxes, a lot of people from Vancouver tend to go down into Portland to buy their groceries or buy their regular daily goods. When it comes to buying a car or something major like that, even if you bought it in Oregon, you would have to pay the Washington tax because your license says that you live in Washington. So that is not an out for the major purchases, but it is an out for some of the minor purchases. If you're more laid back, if you're more of an at-home or just a neighborhood type person, Vancouver has everything that you would need. There's really no sense to go over into Portland except if you want to go to some of the shows or some of the sports games and that type of thing. But Vancouver itself, most people up here that I know of are pretty comfortable with just supporting everything that's local and going around through downtown, hitting the mall to the east. Again, the only reason most people go into Vancouver or into Portland from Vancouver is probably to save on the sales tax on their items, but everybody else is just 100% comfortable. It's a very exciting place, a lot of new things to do, a lot of historical sights to see, and just a pleasant place to live without being in the hustle and bustle of a big city.
Let's take it from the top.
What? I have to repeat all that again?